Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here on a Tuesday afternoon with you. I'm so excited. I am Scott Meyer, and if this is your first time on the Nine Clouds webinar, I want to thank you so much for coming. We do these about twice a month on a variety of social media, digital media topics, and we're really passionate about improving digital literacy. And that's why I think today is going to be so much fun because this topic, Facebook graph search, is so new. It's something that not a lot of people even have yet. And so what we're going to talk about today is what Facebook graph search is, how you can use it in your business, and how marketers can kind of plan for the future by starting to use it. So first, let me introduce myself. As I mentioned, I'm Scott Meyer from Nine Clouds. And what we're doing today is a little different. We're actually going to go live onto the web because this is such a new topic that I think you want to see it in action, not just see slides of it. So if you guys want to get onto the graph search, you can just go to facebook.com/graph search, and it will redirect you to this page here. And so you can kind of see my page loading now. And if you scroll to the bottom of the page that talks about graph search, you can see that it says try graph search beta. And what you'll be able to do is click this button, and that'll get you into the graph search. So I've already clicked the button, so it doesn't show up for me. But if you guys are interested in getting it, you can go try that now. So you can request to get graph search. Once you have it, I don't know how to get rid of it. So if you want to first see what it's all about, we can talk about that here today. And let's just go ahead and get right into it and kind of show you some of the ways that you can use graph search and why it's important. So I will first show, as we go to my Facebook page, one of the exciting things about this webinar is not just that it's a really hot and new topic, but also that you get to look at my personal Facebook page. So it's not often that you can creep on the webinar presenter's Facebook page. So what you'll see Facebook graph search does is changes the top of our Facebook page. So now instead of having my photo on the left-hand side and home, I just have this big search bar. When I click there, it's actually going to give me recommendations of things to search for. So if I click My Friends, it's just going to bring up a list of all of my friends on Facebook. You can see my brother there at the top. Again, if I click on that search bar, I can go further down the rabbit hole. Maybe I want friends of my friends, and that'll search for me there. I can see friends of my friends, and those might be people I should become friends with. I can do even further. I can do friends of my friends who live in Brookings, South Dakota. So again, we're getting deeper, people who I might know who live in my hometown. And I can go even deeper, friends of my friends who live in Brookings, South Dakota, who work at Nine Clouds. So let's see if there's anyone there. So these are all, friends of my friends as well as my friends, hopefully, that work at Nine Clouds. So you can see that we can just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper and more specific, but it's always based on my relationship with people. And this is going to change the way that we interact with Facebook a lot. The other nice thing is you don't have to choose what Facebook tells you. You can search. You can just type things in. So I might say, I want a hamburger shop my friends like. Let's just try that. And it'll give me some kind of results here. Oh, no results there. So let's just try a hamburger restaurant. Hamburger restaurants, and we would be able to do a web search, or it'll show us what comes up here on Facebook, so we can do both. So I want to show you some examples of what I think this changes for marketing, and then also some interesting ways that you can use it yourself if you request it and get it. So I'll kind of jump back and forth a little bit so you can follow what we're trying to do. But the first out of 4 things that I think you should walk away with today is learning how to use Facebook graph search for networking. And the way that I find this useful is to find local influencers. So if you're a business, or if you are a nonprofit, or if you're a church and you're trying to start something in a community, maybe you're launching a new product, or maybe you're doing a fundraising campaign, maybe if you're a band, you're having a concert. If you're trying to go somewhere that you haven't worked before, Facebook graph search is going to make it really easy to find people who can help you. For example, I'll go to my Facebook graph search and say I want to start another Nine Clouds branch, Nine Clouds West, let's say, in Denver. I can just search my friends who live in Denver, and here it brings all of them up. a lot of different people. And what I would do as a marketer, as a business person, is look through this list. And maybe my friend Quinn here, she lives in Denver and she works for a public relations firm. So that would be a great person where I could say, will you help me, promote Nine Clouds West? Or maybe do you want to come work at Nine Clouds West? Or, hey, Mark, I see you're in Denver. Would you host a fundraising event at your house? Or, maybe Rachel, I see you're a writer and blogger. I need someone to write about something in Denver for my company. All of a sudden, we can find people really quickly just by asking where they live. And we can actually refine that on the right-hand side. So we can only look for females, for example, who are in Denver. You can see 21 of my friends match that. And maybe I only want people who studied with me at Luther College. So if I want to have an alumni meetup, there's 10 of my friends from Luther who are female who live in Denver, Colorado. So you can just see how quickly and how easily you can find things. And what I see this being is really a challenge to LinkedIn. We used to use LinkedIn as a way to find business professional contacts in a certain area or industry. Now with Facebook Graph Search, we can actually do it through Facebook as well. So all of this refining, all of these search results are, of course, coming from what we're telling Facebook about ourselves. So if you personally don't want to be found on Facebook Graph Search, or maybe you don't want people to know where you live, you'd have to change that setting in your personal Facebook page. But as a business, as a marketer, think about how you can contact influencers in a local market. I would go to Denver, I'd maybe look at all of these contacts I have, see who's most connected, who has the most friends, and ask them, will you help me promote or get my event or thing started in Denver? So a lot of fun ways to use that. Want to ask, just pause for a second here. Any questions on, how you could kind of use the graph search for example, networking? I see Christina asked a question here. Does the search take into account people's privacy settings? Yes, it does. So if you have your privacy set up where you don't want people to see where you live or who your employer is, then you're not going to be included on those refined results. But if you have your location public, but maybe your employer is private, you would still show up on the location searches, Christina. So thanks for that question. That's a good one, and it's a good reminder if you need some privacy or want some privacy, that now's the time to do it as the graph search gets rolled out. So networking is one powerful way that marketers can use the Facebook graph search. The second way that I think is going to be massive for marketers is that now likes are really recommendations. So anytime that you like a business page, even if your friend begged you to like their new business page, the graph search is going to take that into account as a recommendation. And when your friends are searching for things, it'll recommend those businesses or restaurants or nonprofits or churches to them because you've shown interest in them. And this changes things dramatically. I used to never recommend that businesses worry about likes because honestly, even if people like your business page, it doesn't mean that they see what you're saying. But now with the graph search rolling out, I think likes are going to be incredibly important. It's essentially like having a link on Google, which makes your results show up higher in the results. Having a like is going to show your results higher in the graph search. And what that means to me is that the Facebook ads might be worth it. The ads that help build your likes might be one way to help improve your results on the graph search. And most importantly, and this is kind of hard to figure out sometimes, is who are the influential people in your industry or in your community that you would want connected with your page? How can you incentivize those people to like your page? So if you're a restaurant, for example, you would want someone in your home, in that town with lots of friends on Facebook to like your restaurant, because then all of their friends are going to be seeing your restaurant page on Facebook. So let me just show you what this looks like now with graph search. So I can do a search like restaurants nearby. And you can see here on the map, it'll actually show where those restaurants are on the map. What's interesting is that if you don't have a Facebook business page, you don't show up at all on Facebook Graph Search. And so if you haven't already gotten one for your business, now is the time to do it. This is essentially your entry on Yelp or your Google Places page. When people are searching, you need to exist. And they're going to showcase the businesses based on an algorithm that they don't exactly tell us, but it's some combination of total likes as well as people connected to you liking the restaurant. So you can see this restaurant here, the Ram and O'Hare's, 101 of my friends like it, which is probably why it's at the top of my list. If you search for restaurants in Brookings, it might be different because your friends might like different things. But you can see all the results here. There's 16 of them. The ones with more likes and more connections to me are at the top. Not surprisingly, the ones without even a photo are generally at the bottom. So you want to make sure that you get those pages looking good and get people to like them as well. But we can go even more specific. We have restaurants nearby, but what if we do another search and we do restaurants nearby liked by my friends? You can see that the order changes a little bit. Cherry Berry fell down a little bit, so not as popular among my friends, whereas Bravo's jumped up a little bit. So this is where we see the likes from influential people playing a role. Someone who's connected with lots of friends on Facebook, their recommendations are going to show up often, whereas someone with very few friends, their recommendations aren't going to be as valuable to a marketer. Now we can go even deeper. We have restaurants near Brookings, South Dakota. Now what if we go just to restaurants that a certain person likes? So I might trust my brother Paul because he has a really good palate, for example. He likes good food. Restaurants near Brookings, South Dakota that Paul Meyer likes. There's only one. And so if Paul Meyer is my influencer, if that's the person I trust, I want to make sure that he likes my restaurant or my nonprofit or my business, because that's going to be a recommendation for all of his friends who are searching based on his likes. So does that make sense a little bit? We're using the word like a lot. We have some questions here, so I'm going to jump over. Feel free to drop more in. And Danielle's asking, do you use the graph search only on business page and not on your personal page? You actually use it for both. So I'll just jump back to like my personal page, and let's just say, friends. We can just say my friends. So these are my personal Facebook friends that show up on the graph search. And maybe I want to say friends of John Meyer. So I want to look at all of the friends of my brother. And it's going to first show the ones that are most relevant, but there's going to be a lot of people on there that are just personal connections. So it is both personal and business. Today we'll kind of talk more the business angle. Same question from Caroline, so I hope that helped out. So we also have from Tia what if you search for something obscure like nature centers? Will Facebook know I'm a nature center? That's a great question. Let's try it out. So if I just search nature center, what it's going to do, as you can see, is look for that word in the page title. And so one of the things that you might want to think about is, what is the name of your Facebook business page? If there's a word that you're trying to optimize for, that might be something that you need to think about, is having that word in the title. So you can see this one here from Knoxville, Tennessee is at the top of the list. But if I did Nature Center, let's try Sioux Falls and just see what we come up with. Doesn't look like I see it. So that might be something we can work on with you if you want to ask us some questions, try to find it. If you want to put in the exact name of it, we can actually go in and do some searches. You can also see other things that are personal, speaking to Danielle and Caroline's question, music, games, restaurants, photos I've liked, so all of this stuff that we've been interacting with on Facebook is coming back and being easy to find. So there you can see all the photos generally, organized by interaction, comments, and likes. So you can see lots of babies and family and fun things like that. So I hope that answered those questions. Zachary had another question here. Good to see you, Zach. Thanks for joining us. Can I search for organization types with more than or less than number of likes? Great question. And I think we could filter it. So if we wanted to search for just search for nonprofit and see if we can do it that way. So these are all web searches, so we don't want to do that, but let's just start with pages. So these are all just pages. And then if we searched here on the right-hand side, we could, I don't know if that refine will give us that or not. We could sort by who likes it. So if we had a certain person, we could go in here and probably do like a nonprofit or an organization. So let's just do a school, like pretend we're doing Lehigh, for example. And it gives us some examples, but I don't think it's going to be a number of likes, to answer your question. There's other ways to filter it, but that's going to be probably the best we can do. Yeah. So I think to answer your question right now, Zach, would be no, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that's added on. As you can see, there's lots of different ways to sort and refine. So a lot to learn there. So that's a little bit about how we can use likes as recommendations. We want to get those influencers to like us so more people find us. Now the third way that you can use Facebook graph search is what I call market research. And I think this is probably the most exciting for a business because it really gives you a game plan on what to talk about online and also maybe who you should partner with. So, especially in a local community, there's probably going to be a few pages that are really popular. And if you want to get your content, say you want the Nature Center in front of a lot of people in Sioux Falls, you might find the pages that are most popular in Sioux Falls and then get your put comments or messages on those pages so people can come back to the Nature Center Facebook page. So we'll kind of do an example here and show you what I'm talking about. I'll try to find where I was. So one of the things you can first look at is, maybe how are your friends a reflection of yourself? So you can just look at pages liked by your friends and you can see, my friends are interested in NPR, the Minnesota Twins, The Office, Barack Obama, hiking, The Daily Show. So you can start to make some assumptions about me. You can see it's liked by my friends. If I wanted to separate it out, I could do my family. You could really start to hone in on the tastes that you or your friends or your family have. I think this gets interesting when you start looking at it from a business perspective. So for example, pages that are liked by people who like 9Clouds. So 9Clouds is our digital marketing firm. People who have liked that page are also interested in these pages: NPR, the Minnesota Twins, The Office, TED, Small Business Saturday. And what this tells me is, as a business, I should talk about those topics that interest people that follow me on Facebook. So instead of talking about maybe the Jacks game, I might, based on Facebook data, say I should talk about the Twins because that's the second most popular page that people in my community are talking and liking. I also would want to do something for Small Business Saturday. Maybe I would run a promotion because people on my page, people in my community know what that is and like that. So you can get really interesting data about what people are interacting with and maybe make some inferences about how you can promote or really create messaging that speaks to those people. I think this gets really powerful in our example of the Nature Center in Sioux Falls when you take it to a local level. So we'll start with pages liked by people who like 9Clouds, but then we can put geography to it too. So how about people who live in Brookings that like the 9Clouds page? What are pages that they like? So here we can see these are all businesses located in Brookings or businesses that have been liked by people in Brookings. And so as 9Clouds, I might say, if I want new customers from Brookings, South Dakota, I should do some kind of promotion with the Children's Museum. A lot of my fans, a lot of people in my community also like the Children's Museum. So if I want to get more people like the customers I have, I can do a promotion with the Children's Museum, and the chances are those people would be open to interacting with me because a lot of them already are. Same with Downtown Brookings, Jessup Wines, Minnesota Twins, the Brookings Register, Oh My Cupcake. These are all companies that a lot of people in this specific geographic area that are also connected to 9Clouds. I could change that. Instead of doing Brookings, South Dakota residents, I could just move it to a different geographic area, right? So I could do, we'll just go back to Denver, Colorado. Let's see if that works there. And let's try it up here instead. So we'll just do pages liked by people in Denver, Colorado, who also like 9Clouds. We'll see if I got it close enough here. Guess not. We'll start here. Pages liked by people who live in Denver, Colorado. And then if I want to get more specific, people in Denver who like 9Clouds like the Post and the Ram and the City of Brookings and my dad's orthodontic business. So you can find a lot of really interesting things about your customers and maybe find people who are like them. And that'll really help you with the content creation. So how can I create content talking about things they're already interested in? And then I know they're going to interact and like it and share it because they're already fans of it. So that's one way that I really see using pages as market research to see what your community is talking about and interested in. You can also do it geographic. Again, if you're trying to do a fundraiser or target a certain market, why don't you just look at what people in that town like? Not surprisingly, in Minneapolis, they like the city of Minneapolis and the Minnesota Vikings. But that would tell me, again, if I'm going to do some kind of promotion there, I might want to try to partner with someone here or talk about these topics. And you can kind of see also what's most popular. Obviously, the Minnesota Vikings are more popular online on Facebook than the Minnesota Twins. So you can start to get some really interesting insights and try to figure out how your business might be able to use that. So I'll pause again here for a second. See, do you have any questions about how you can use Facebook as market research, or maybe you want me to try, your own business or your own organization? You can feel free to drop in what you're curious about. If you want me to search something, I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll kind of see what we can get. So while you're doing that, feel free to keep typing. I'll come back and answer your question, but I want to also keep moving forward and give the fourth way that marketers can use Facebook graph search. And that's by understanding that actions and apps are now recommendations. So just as we have likes as a recommendation, now if someone listens to something on Spotify or takes a photo on Instagram or plays a game like Farmville, those are being counted and synced with Facebook. And so as a business, we want to encourage our customers to create what's called user-generated content. So photos or messages or videos or games or songs that are tagged and mentioning our business or our music or our fundraiser, whatever it might be. If people are interacting and creating those, they'll be able to be found by people searching on Facebook graph search. So Christina asked a great question. I'll just pause here and answer these. If you have any others, drop them in. Do owners of Facebook pages receive any metrics about the number of times they've appeared in Social Graph and the number of click-throughs? Awesome question. And the answer right now is no, unfortunately. There's no kind of click-through rate like you have with AdWords or even that you have on your Facebook page itself. You can see, obviously, on your Facebook business page, your same metrics, how many people are liking and interacting. But so far, we don't have those metrics to see the conversion rates. So that's something that I'm sure will be rolled out, much like Zach's question. But right now, unfortunately, the answer is no. So if you want to ask any other questions, do so. But I'm going to jump in and show you a little bit how these apps act as recommendations. So the first thing that I like to look at is photos. And photos obviously are really popular on Facebook. And now you can sort photos really quickly by geography and also by what pages they're posted on or tagged in those photos. So I just did a search for photos of my favorite pages, so pages that I've liked that were taken in Brookings, South Dakota. And you can see, here's a photo of a promotion for an event at the Old Market, which is a restaurant in Brookings. This is a snowflake that I know they had a contest at the Pheasant, which is another restaurant in Brookings. You can see those photos there. Obviously, photos of people at different restaurants. You can see the Viewer Choices Award, some coffee there. You can see Nick's Hamburgers taking a photo here. And so what this is doing is that it's helping other people to promote your business on Facebook for you. And so as a business, we want as many people as we can to take and share and tag us in their posts and photos, because that just means we'll show up more often when people are looking at photos or searching for information. We can go even deeper on the same kind of search by looking just at a specific area. So now it's not just photos taken at a restaurant, but it's actually photos taken in a geographic location. So you can see my dog Ava up here on the left-hand side playing in the snow. We can see, a basketball game here, an event, someone's house, the courthouse, kind of a snowy day, someone playing music here. There's a lot going on here. And it's a great reminder, again, that your photos, if your privacy is set as open, are going to be found. And if you're tagging by location or if your camera, which a lot of cameras today are tagging where the photo is taken, that's going to be added to the data. So you want to make sure that you know what you are sharing and what's possible to find. And if you want people to find your content, if you're a restaurant or a business or whatever it is, you want to make sure that as many people as are possible are sharing those and tagging those in the right place. I really like the example of music too. My brother Paul has great music. And so we can just search music that Paul Meyer listens to. So if I need a way to start finding some new bands or see what Paul's up to, I can just type in his name, and these are all bands that he's been listening to on Spotify, which is an app that syncs with Facebook. So I can scroll through and kind of see his popular bands. You can judge him because he's not on the call today. But we can learn a lot about people and also get ideas for different content. And we can even say, what's my favorite music that Paul Meyer listens to? I guess I don't have any favorites, but we could go really deep on other people's favorites and interests. It looks like Paul hasn't set any favorites either. But there's a lot of different ways that we can use Facebook graph search. And really what Facebook's trying to do is make it the new Google. So when I want any information, when I want, marketing company in South Dakota, I might be able to search there and hopefully find 9Clouds. That's going to be the goal. And maybe it's going to go marketing officers. So we're still learning how to use it here at 9Clouds. We're still trying to find the best ways. But what we do know is that this is going to be a huge shift. And Facebook is trying to make this universal. As you see when you log into a Facebook page, it's the first thing you see on the top left, and it stretches all the way across the top. And so it's very likely that this is going to be increasing in popularity and importance. And as a business, we needed to learn how to take advantage of it. So the 4 things that I want you to remember today that we kind of went through is thinking about how you could use Facebook graph search for networking, for connecting with people that you already know, but maybe you forgot lived in a certain place or worked in a certain company. Secondly, it's to get likes. And even if you don't have Facebook graph search, you can start to do this. Get more people to like you because you'll show up more often. Third, think about using Facebook graph search to find out what your customers are like. What are they into? What kind of music do they like? What other pages do they like? So that you can talk about those topics that interest them, and then also go to the pages where they're interacting so you can bring them back to your page. A really good way to do this is oftentimes through like a Chamber of Commerce page, a sports team page where you can make a mention and leave a link back to your Facebook page. Finally, remember that actions are now recommendations. So you want your customers, people that like you, to share photos, to share videos, to tag you in their messages. That's just going to help you show up more often and have more people find you on graph search. So really big changes. Now's a great time to ask questions. We can kind of do some more examples based on your interests. And again, if you want to sign up for graph search, feel free to go to facebook.com/graph search. Also at 9Clouds, we do these webinars about twice a month on new topics each time. And we're going to send you on Thursday a white paper that we've put together based on these recommendations. So we're going to give you kind of the step-by-step tutorial guide on how to actively use Facebook, sign up for it, and some things to think about. So you'll have those on your inbox on Thursday, and we'll also put up the white paper on our blog at that time at 9clouds.com/blog. So a lot of different links, a lot of resources that we can offer you. And now I want to be your answer resource. So I'm going to jump over here to the questions. We have a few in the queue, and feel free to add more. So from Caroline, she's asking, is it possible to search through posts by keyword or just likes? So let's take a look. The posts, I don't know if we'll be able to go within the post text itself, but it will do keywords of the pages that we're looking for. And Caroline specified, I'll go read that one too. By posts, I mean comments. Okay, so we won't be able to do the comments through the search as far as I know, but we can do keywords within a page. So if I just search, for example, for we did nature center. So let's just try movie theater as an example. It'll give me the chance to look at movie theaters in general, but then it'll also pull up pages that have movie theater in the title. If I do movie theaters in general, not showing me anything right now. So I guess there's not very optimized. I could do movie theaters in Brookings, but nobody has a page created for that. So Showcase Cinema 5 needs some help there. I think restaurants is a big one. A lot of people use. What if we did if we did a car dealership, we might be able to do something like that. You can see some of those that are about cars show up. But again, that one didn't bring anything up either. So I think the answer to your question, Caroline, is that right now we won't be able to go into the comments. It's going to pull from the title of the page. And it would seem to me that a lot of them aren't even showing up yet based on that. So it's something that will probably improve over time, but for right now, some limitations. So Christina asks, is there any advertising opportunities within graph search? Right now, shockingly enough, there's no ads that show up here. It's kind of your ads. But I think what we will be seeing is probably ads that show up here based on the searches. So right now, the best ad opportunity would be either ads to increase the likes on your page so that you show up, or ads that would promote a post. And that's kind of the way that it's been for a while. Let's just do a little look. We'll do restaurants again because that's just a really easy one. But there's no, As far as I've seen anywhere, there's no ad opportunities yet, but you can rest assured that there might be opportunities to put your result first for restaurants if you so choose. But right now, unfortunately, no opportunity. Great question though, Christina. If I was looking for the owners of a company, can I search for owner in the title of their employment? So that'd be a little bit more like LinkedIn. Let's just try it. We'll just use my company as an example. I'll put a space in there. And this is another example of how you type things are going to make a big difference. And that's actually taking me to the page. So people who work at 9Clouds is maybe more like it. Yep. And let's see, here's the position. I thought that was a possibility. So you can kind of see, Caroline, that we can search any of the positions that are listed by people working there. So someone who's a doctor worked at 9Clouds, and that's why we have doctor as a potential filter. I can go find out who that is. I guess they left now. But if I did chief outreach officer, you can see that's in my title. Or if we did marketing officer, someone else might be there. No, not there. So we can search a little bit. There's some limitations, but you can go by title. And that would be interesting because, this is pulling from anyone who has it public. And so if you're not even connected with these people, you'd be able to find them. And so that's a really nice way to get into a company, like maybe what Caroline's thinking. If you want to talk to the HR rep or if you want to talk to the purchasing manager, you might be able to search that. So if I want to talk to someone, let's say who works at, I don't know, let's try Nick's Hamburgers. And then we'll go people who work at Nick's Hamburgers. Oh, nobody works there who's on Facebook. So bad example. But I think you can kind of see some potential there, Caroline. So thanks for the question there. Any other questions? All right, great overview. Thanks, Caroline, for coming. A lot of potential. As you can see, we're just diving in. We're learning about it ourselves. And I think this is going to expand. There's a reason they haven't thrown it out to everybody yet, which is essentially that they want to work out the bugs and find ways to monetize it, as Christina kind of said. But there's going to be a lot of changes coming along. So I encourage you, if you get a chance, go to the 9Clouds blog and you can subscribe there. That'll give you all the updates that we send about Facebook and about other digital media tools. And look for the white paper coming on Thursday. We'll kind of walk through some of these steps that we did. And if you're really excited, if you want to start playing around with it, I encourage you to go to facebook.com/graph search and try that beta search out. I really like it. I think it's showed me, if anything, more photos. I've found more old things. It's kind of unearthed images. And for the most part, that's been really positive. But it can also be something that can be a little scary. So make sure, if you don't want some of those things found about your business or yourself, that you go through and kind of clean it up. But that's what I wanted to show you today about the Facebook Graph Search. We'll be back in maybe 2 or 3 weeks with a webinar about some LinkedIn. So we'll kind of put Graph Search against LinkedIn and show you which one's going to be better for your business. So if you're interested in that, you can just sign up on 9Clouds blog for updates, and we'll look forward to sending those soon. So we hope today improved your digital literacy a little bit. If you have any other questions that you didn't think of during the webinar, feel free to email info@9Clouds or on Facebook or on Twitter @9Clouds. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have a great Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.